Think I need to adjust everything. There we go. That goes there. And that's about in the middle, right? Yeah. It wasn't. There we go. There we go. Let's start from the gate with, instead of not starting with Trump, we're starting with Israel. So, breaking news from today, Israel decided to attack a university in West Bank and wounded a dozen Palestinians in the university when IDF decided to attack the Birzeit University in West Bank. And this is just another gross strike against the so-called ceasefire that actually doesn't exist. Wait a second. Where's my YouTube? Just a second. I'll check one thing. Why is my live chat not available? Where is YouTube? Oh. There we go. Oopsie. Didn't put it live. Now it should be live. Right? Sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to things. All good. There we go. And now I can see the chat. So, as I stated, Israel decided to attack a university in Gaza. No, not in Gaza, in West Bank. Hey, Lennart Mao, thanks for the follow. Dozens of people were wounded after Israel's army opened fire with live rounds, sound grenades, and tear gas at the prominent university in the occupied West Bank as students sat in classrooms and roamed the campus. Israeli soldiers smashed open the university gates as panicked students and staff watched in shock in Tuesday. Three of the injured were shot in the legs, according to the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. 5 people suffered tear gas inhalations, and 3 were hit by flying shrapnel. In a statement, Birzeit University said the attack constitutes a flagrant and deliberate violation of the sanctity of the universities and educational institutes. The official Wafa news agency reported. Storming the campus in broad daylight and transforming it into a military zone reflects a systematic policy aimed at intimidating students, undermining their right to education, and targeting Palestinian consciousness, it said. The Palestinian Minister of Health said 11 people arrived at the Istishari Arab Hospital in Ramallah for treatment. The Israeli raid followed a student event in solidarity with thousands of Palestinian prisoners held incommunicado in Israeli jails, and coincided with the screening of the film Hind Rajab a 6-year-old girl shot dead by troops during the genocidal war on Gaza. What up, Sir Rumpelstiltskin? We are reading about how Israelis are again attacking Palestinians. Israeli forces stormed the campus shortly before the screening. The Israeli army said it targeted a gathering in support of terrorism. Yeah, like watching a film is a gathering supporting terrorism. Heard the news buzzword, new lexicon. They're calling it Don Road Doctrine now. Oh, my fucking God. We're gonna get into the Trump fuckery. But yeah, Don Road Doctrine. We're gonna get into that soon. But first we're gonna, once again, unfortunately, report some atrocities coming from Israel. Once again. I saw some videos that are quite horrific from the university. Like, they were showing a screening of the film Hind Rajab, a 6-year-old girl shot dead by troops during the genocidal war on Gaza. And they are claiming that they were gathering in support of terrorism, which is just a fucking scapegoat to use live ammunition, tear gas, and flash grenades on university campus among students. But once again, like, the countries that are enabling this sort of behavior are going to be silent about this. I don't know what you support, whatever it is, I want to do the opposite. Well, I'm in support of like letting children and women live and not killing them. So I don't know if that's you, but if you want to be against that, by all means. Hey, Dop Dogger, thanks for the heart and go popular as always. But like, I support life. I support not killing children. They attacked university in Iran. They attacked the university in West Bank. Did they attack a university in Iran as well? I didn't see any of that. Let's see. It was a while ago. I mean, I don't understand why governments or armies or military forces want to attack universities unless they're scared of people getting educated. I'm not on that. Hey, Aishing. Hi, I'm doing fine. I bit my tongue, so I apologize if I slur some words. I'm not dementic like Trump, I promise. I promise. Israel bombed Lebanon on Mondays and 2 Thursdays. Israel bombed Syria on Wednesdays. Israel bombs Palestine the rest of the week. Only Israel can bomb 3 countries and still be perceived as a victim. Trump next will be going for Greenland for sure. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be a close race between Greenland and Colombia. What is with them? They are under the impression that it's exceptional. I mean, they hide behind the shield of religion, which is one of the most efficient shields to be behind. Even though Israel's government's actions has nothing to do with the religion. Does this lad do 24 hours live? No. I don't. Trump strikes on Venezuela killed more than 30 civilians. That's a war crime. I don't know if it was 30 civilians, but they did kill 40. And there were civilian casualties as well. I know there was a bunch of like army members that died, and I think there was a few civilians, but I haven't seen the most recent news about it. Hey, Peresa, thanks for the follow. Trump now doesn't care what world says, he's just playing now. Yeah. That's a dangerous thing to have a person who has the codes for nuclear weapons. Is North Korea getting involved? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Like Kim Jong-un is not a threat to anyone except the citizens of North Korea. Spanish news channels show the damage. Yeah, I saw the civilians in Venezuela. There was an interview as well. They've been trouble since I can remember, and I'm 60. Is it because Trump is in with them? I think the United States is kind of enabling it. So if Green is annexed and NATO is abandoned, then China will benefit the most. I think Russia will benefit quite a lot too. I think Iran is next. Heard reports about the cleric, his son, and 20 associates are already having backdoor discussions to flee to Russia, depending on IRA's deflection ratio. No, I mean, didn't you see what the Colombian president said? And not only selling them weapons, but like paying their healthcare and education. They are subsidizing quite a lot of money there. Prof, thanks for the follow. One step at a time towards World War III. Didn't you hear what the president of Colombia said about Trump? You want to hear? I can translate. Of course, I speak perfect Spanish. It's one of the best speeches ever. This one. Are you ready, guys? Hey, Mushroom, thanks for the follow. Let's say if Trump annexed Greenland, what could Europe do? Nothing apart from issuing condemned statement. I mean, it's going to be the destruction of NATO if Trump does that. Because Greenland is a NATO ally. Then there's not going to be NATO anymore. Clear as day. But here's the president of Colombia showing the middle finger. Colombia president should shut the fuck up. Can't trust Trump now. He might invade for real. Oh, yeah. So let's start. We are NATO. Third Ferguson. Colombia guys like Matador taunting the bull. They could make a deal like they did with Camp Century. Yes, the sky is always falling when Trump is in office.
Un clan de pedófilos quiere acabar la democracia en Colombia.
So what Petro said was, a clan of pedophiles wants to destroy the democracy in Colombia. The clan of pedophiles is the government of the United States.
Pedófilos quiere acabar la democracia en Colombia. Duro, sí.
Harsh, yes.
Pero ahí está la realidad.
But that's the reality.
Y para que no salga la lista.
And to keep the list from coming out, talking about the Epstein list.
Entonces nos envían a Corazón.
They sent warships to kill fishermen from this city and threaten the neighbor, talking about dictator and so on.
Y amenazar al vecino que si dictador o no, ¿cómo que el pueblo de Colombia?
As if the people of Colombia would applaud an invasion.
Va a aplaudir que invadan a su hermano, que no es el presidente, sino el pueblo de Venezuela.
Like, Gustavo Petro, the president of Colombia, is just fucking taunting Trump at this moment. And we know that Trump doesn't take lightly people making fun of him. He can do nothing. Trump can take him on out and take Colombia in a heartbeat. Robbie, do you think that's a good thing? Do you think that creates stability? If you think that creates stability, you're fucking delusional. You haven't paid attention in history class. If you think invading a country and doing a regime change creates stability. What do you think about Trump, mate? It's not just Trump, like, the whole admin is kind of wild. Wouldn't be my pick for president, but neither would have been like Biden or Harris. Colombia really has no say in what America does. I mean, no, Third Ferguson, you kind of got that backwards. America has no say. Like, okay, you're talking about the United States of America. You're not talking about America because that's quite a different thing. United States of America should have no say in sovereign countries, what they do inside their own borders. I'm still learning and formulating opinions, but I'm leaning quite far to the right as a Brit. Like, United States should just focus on their own fucking borders. But as we heard the propaganda minister Stephen Miller say, that they want to dictate what their neighbors do, what their neighbors, who their neighbors ally with, who their neighbors do business with. They want to control the whole hemisphere. And this is coming from the propaganda minister Stephen Miller. America first to stay within the USA. Yeah. European guy complaining about the very freedom he enjoys paid for by the blood of the Americans. I'm sure you don't know history, but please do indulge us. I think other than American Trump is just a glorified dictator. I mean, of course we can't say that because it's not politically correct to call Trump a dictator. But if you've read history and you listen to Trump's speeches, you listen to Stephen Miller's speeches, you listen to Marco Rubio, you listen to Hegseth, you will see similarities in history in Europe. Free Palestine, I do think so as well. Would you support the US pulling out of NATO and focusing on our borders? To be honest, you kind of sound like you have a chip on your shoulder from a bad life experience, man. No. I've just read enough history to see similarities in from history. And we as a species have learned absolutely nothing. What do you think of America taking control of South American continent? I mean, if they want to be like a colonial, imperialistic United States of America, then they are. Then we shouldn't like stop calling them what they are. Just going to read a question and not answer it. What? I mean, if the United States wants to go out of NATO and focus on themselves, at least that would be in line with their policies. I'm not going to say should they. They could if they want to. I'm not going to dictate what the United States does for the beneficial of their own country. Attacking small country without reason. Well, they had a reason. They had oil. Alice, don't diss Trump or USA will not give off the F-35s. True. World's going bonkers, that is true. And in the meanwhile, we see Israel attack universities for fucking screening movies. And calling that like supporting terrorism. The usual. They won't. I think they're just playing hardball to push the other members to spend a panic buy. It's always agreed with Trump. I voted for Harris. It's wild here. I would have not voted for Harris because I think the Democratic candidates are horrible in the previous election. I would have probably voted an independent on just something else. It's a resource war. He knows Saudi will destroy, so they turn to South America countries. We were all wondering who'd you vote for. I would have not voted for Harris or Biden. Definitely not Trump. Well, if you vote independent, you vote for Trump. Yeah, but if you that's the issue for having only like a handful of candidates. And it's also like the Democratic Party's issue that they didn't put a better candidate there. Like, the Democrats lost the election for all their fuckery. Just like Trump lost the election in 2020. Why do Europeans think Europe is a separate continent from Eurasia? Oh my fucking god. Because it is. Because it is. You want to hear some tomfuckery about from Trump? We have the whole speech here waiting. We have so many. No, we can still stay in Israel though. Not scientifically. Oh my god. They tried to reinforce perimeter. Problem is they didn't even get the new American puppet installed. Obviously, we don't agree on politics, but I commend you for hearing the opposite views. I mean, yeah. You cut out. I think it's just like the cold weather here in Ireland is fucking up with the internet. But we can stay in Israel a bit. Economic survival in Gaza decimated by Israel's Council on Small Initiatives. Gaza's unemployment rate has reached 80%. It's going to be hard to actually like find jobs and work when you're constantly like bombarded. It's hard to go to school in Gaza also because the government on the other side of the yellow line is just eager to kill children. Which is 80% unemployment rate is among the highest, which is kind of weird thing to say from the United Nations, considering like, again, it's really hard to work in Gaza when you're constantly being under threat of being killed for whatever reason they want to implement that time. After more than 2 years of Israel's genocidal war on Gaza, the daily unbearable churn of mass death and mourning with homes, hospitals, and schools destroyed, the besieged Palestinian territory also faces the fastest and most damaging economic collapse on record. That is according to the United Nations, which says Gaza's unemployment rate has reached 80%. Yet, despite Israel's suffocating blockade on the strip, Palestinians are improvising business to survive. I mean, that's the whole thing with like people living in Gaza and Palestinians in general. They can't really live. They need to survive. That's the difference between us who live in peace and those who live in constant fear. Is like their everyday life is surviving. And we can at least live. Do you think they will ever answer for all the war crimes they have done? I hope so. I do hope so. I'm not holding my breath on that. But I do hope so. We might see that quite soon because Netanyahu is under trial. And it's one of the most anticipated trials of 2026. Because the charges he has are quite interesting. When it comes to like corruption and security breaches and regarding October the 7th and also Netanyahu's ties with Hamas. So it's going to be interesting to see how that trial plays out. Of course, Trump is trying to influence the trial and trying to pardon Netanyahu even before Netanyahu is sentenced, which kind of tells a story. But that's one of the most interesting court cases we have in 2026. Honestly, I don't have any problem with Israel. We can have conflicting views. I mean, my only issue with I have no issue with the people of Israel, and I don't have any issues with the religion. My only issue is like the government is willing to kill children and innocent women and men. What do you think? What do you think of the countries dealing with Shannon Airport? What's happening in Shannon Airport? You German know. They're living in limbo in Gaza Strip. Anything can happen at any time. Oh yeah, and like I told this a few streams ago, but one of the most sad interviews I ever saw was the reporter was interviewing a child in Gaza. And they were asking what the child wants to be when they grow up. And the child said, alive. And that was fucking devastating. Tell Palestinians to stop using children as shields. Well, how about the army not shooting those fucking missiles if they see children there? Like, Israel has one of the most sophisticated military forces in the world. And you say that they can't avoid children. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And that's just justifying killing children. They literally have one of the most sophisticated military forces in the world. And on top of that, one of the best intelligence agencies in the fucking world. And they can't avoid children. They'll never fight a real army. Oh, Shannon Airport supply of more armory to Israel. Really? Over 70,000 have been killed since the start. Oh, yeah. Last year was one of the deadliest. They're breaking records every fucking year. And then we have like Israeli sympathizers like that fuckhat in the YouTube chat. Why do you, you really think that they can't avoid civilian casualties? Yeah, the Americans use it to refuel and majority end up in Israel. I mean, the Irish government should just like confiscate those. Because we should be able to decide what happens in our hemisphere, right? I'm using the logic of the US. If they're using Shannon Airport to deliver armory to Israel, Ireland should be able to just confiscate it because, like, you know, it's happening in our hemisphere and we can choose what happens there. I'm not a sympathizer, but I think Palestine dealt their own hands and we need to stop pretending. What? Technically they can, but they choose not to. Talking about the Shannon Airport. You don't get the call for genocide for 80 years and then cry you lose. What? You do like drunken batty, dying children and women. I mean, if that's you, good luck with you. It's happening in our country, but technically Shannon falls legally as US soil as well. Ireland has fallen to Islam as well. No, it hasn't, but if you want to live in La La Land, go ahead. Palestinians tried to overthrow Jordan monarchy while he housed them as refugees. They had to get Pakistan army to come and do a cleanup job. You ignore the facts of Palestine. What? The fact of the matter is, it's a one-sided war. And Israel is justifying their killing of like tens of thousands of people by like what was done to them. It is one-sided. You look like Ozzy Osbourne, thanks. It is totally one-sided. Drunken batty, whatever, what the fuck you are. You need to look at the fucking numbers. It is so fucking one-sided. You have the might of one of the most sophisticated fucking military forces in one side, backed up by the world's strongest military. And then you have Hamas, which is a terrorist group. Hamas is a terrorist group, and they should be tried in Hague for crimes against humanity. But let's not fucking pretend that it is even close to an even fight. And especially because Israel is targeting fucking civilians. They are literally targeting civilians. It's one-sided because Israel have been fighting Palestine since the land has been given them. Crane, thanks for the follow. They even push it in kind show. What the fuck? Like, yeah, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas should be tried for crimes against humanity and demilitarized. Israel's government, led by Netanyahu, is a terrorist organization, and they should be tried for crimes against humanity, especially because they've literally done crimes against fucking humanity and war crimes. And they should be also demilitarized. That's it. And see all the Israeli apologists now traveling that, hey, it's a completely different thing. But it's not a completely different thing. What Hamas did on October the 7th was a terrorist attack, and it should be 100% condemned, and I can understand retaliation for that. But when does that retaliation turn into attack? When all of a sudden you multiply the amount of death by fucking tenfold. What is university? Israel decided to attack a university because they were showing a movie about a 6-year-old who died on sniper fire by an IDF soldier, but apparently it's justified, according to the people in the chat who likes governments who kill children. Here's the difference between all of you who justify killing civilians, children, and women, is that you can't be consistent. And I can. What Hamas is doing is horrible. What Israel is doing is horrible. Can you say the same? How soon you think is World War III? I mean, it's quite close. Displacing land that's never been theirs by force nasty people. It's not just Hamas. No. Hezbollah, ISIS, Boko Haram, all of the terrorist organizations should be hunted down and evaporated. But let's not fucking pretend that Israel government is a fucking saint. Let's not pretend that the Israeli government is a fucking saint. Have consistency or shut the fuck up. If you're willing to condemn one side of the war, you should be able to do that for your own as well. I'm not crying because we're losing. I'm crying because people are fucking dying. No. I am fucking devastated of human life loss. That's war. It's not even a war anymore. It is fucking one-sided massacre. Stupid idea of Palestine to attack Israel, wasn't it? Is Hamas still operating? Hamas is still operating. Is Israel killing civilians on purpose? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You do know, Drunken Batty, that there's rules to war, and one of those rules to war is avoiding civilian casualties and trying to avoid civilian infrastructures. He-Man, thanks for the follow. I never liked Netanyahu. I mean, if you look at history again, and you read what the MPs and the ministers are talking about Palestinian children, that dehumanizing talk, the ignorance and lack of education by some of the commentators is frightening. Again, reverse the scenario. What would Palestine do to the Israel if they had a stronger military? Again, if Palestine would be doing the same thing to Israel that Israel is doing to Palestine, I would be upset as well. That's the issue here. Well, that's not the issue. That's the problem with a lot of people. They don't have consistency condemning this. What the Chinese are doing to the Uyghur Muslims, for example, what the Japanese did to the Chinese during the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, what the United States did to the Japanese , Americans during the Second World War. Like, Do we need to go further? Nautin, että Suomessa tää kallu on kuulee murteesti. I have a fucking... I bit my tongue, so... When IRA were fighting the British, did that mean British should open fire on all Irish? Well, I don't know Paddy Element Garden, but I do know quite a lot of like British history, and British did do exactly that. Let's not forget that fucking the SAS went to an IRA funeral and literally threw grenades there. There were a lot of civilians there. Bloody Sunday, yeah. So the issue a lot of people have when I'm talking about these issues are because I am just condemning everyone who is killing civilians. And that's not something, because everybody needs to pick a side. I am just fucking devastated of the human loss in 2026. The amount of human loss. Amount of like suffering in children that don't have a fucking future. Whether the children is Ukrainian, whether the child is from Palestine, whether the child is from, what would be another one? Bangladesh and Thailand are also fighting at the moment. That's the issue here. How I can see a single video from you against Palestine or Hamas? Because the recent news about the conflict between Israel and Hamas has been quite one-sided. I don't know if you noticed. You're too afraid to call Islam. No. What Boko Haram, which is an Islamic terrorist organization, what they have done to Christians and Muslims for decades in Nigeria is fucking horrible. What Al-Qaeda, what ISIS, what Hezbollah, what Hamas is doing is fucking horrible. But those are terrorist organizations. I'm not calling out any religion. That's also a thing. I am not talking about fucking religion, because these are governments, these are terrorist organizations as well. I'm going to guess it's due to how he's speaking his mind. What? Did I miss something juicy here? No, it's Islam, that's the problem. No. 1.6 billion Muslims. I'm not gonna do a blanket statement on any religion, even though I'm an atheist and I should hate religions, but I don't. Iraq to Venezuela Boogaloo, brought to you by the people who gave you Vietnam. Okay, that's a bit of a change in tone. That's a bit of a change in tone. You want to talk about Venezuela next? Now that we got everybody riled up. Venezuela. Now that we've got everybody riled up. Oh yeah. Iran, the protest in Iran, there's like, I think the death toll rose up to almost 30. And yesterday it has had a 1,000 protesters were taken into custody by the Iranian government military police, and it's almost in the brink of like collapsing, because the people want to get rid of the regime that has been treating the people horribly, and now it's on the brink of economic collapse, and also food shortages, also water shortages, and also the citizens don't have a future. Iran is a good example of like where a religious leader fucked up the country in the 80s. Of course, there was influence by the the Soviets and the US, but it was a fuck up from that made it possible for the religious regime to take power in Iran. Not again, I'm not doing a blanket statement. Also, UN and ICJ crying about Trump's action is hypocrisy. No, it's not. Well, it's hypocrisy in a way that we're not arresting Netanyahu for crimes against humanity. He has an international search warrant, arrest warrant, though. It would be Western nations to withdraw their recognition of Islam as a religion and discriminate accordingly. What? Why? Starving people, destroying their infrastructure, taking away their electricity, all of these things are considered crimes against humanity and also war crimes. So, what agreements do Venezuela have with the US? Venezuela is celebrating. Is it though? A lot of Venezuelans are panicking at the moment because they're emptying their stores and the food prices are going up and all the grocery prices are going up. What, within a day? Yeah. Oh yeah, there was literally like people reporting about it. So we got those those Israeli things out of the way. Then we have the Greenland. We have deep in the vaults of the Bank of England's $1.4 billion Venezuelan gold conundrum. That was an interesting news. But why all of those organizations come out of the only one ideology time and time again? We're talking about terrorism, right? What war you speak of? Maybe against truck lords. Heard they were airdropping a couple of dollar generals and Whataburgers after Maduro left. So people can complain about Trump when the UN and ICJ has done the same. Do you consider ICE in US government as a criminal organization? No, ICE is literally a governmental entity. Do I agree how ICE is not giving due diligence to people they're arresting? I mean, according to the administration of Trump, they are in their legal bounds. But considering the hit rate of ICE detaining people that are actually citizens and legally in the country, which is quite a lot of people, they do get due process. Jutta, you need to again fact check everybody. They don't need to read the law. Yeah. Yeah, the detainees get released, but there's a bit of a delay on the release of the detainees. That's the bit of an issue there. Make Venezuela the 51st state. I hear your mouth moving, but I don't hear you saying I'm not. What? Too much shite to check. What do I check? What was the number that the ICE agents arrests were not warranted because the citizens were like, they had the citizenship status. Whole DACA fiasco happened with Obama. Nothing ever gonna make the ICE process clean ever if you want to do it efficiently. And the left who now cry refuse to listen. 74K, I think. What is 74K? 74K or 74%. Not true. Arrest without due process is kidnapping. I mean, I don't have anything against making sure that the immigration process is done properly. But if you go randomly, snatching people who you deem could be potentially illegally in the country. 74 total ICE arrests since Trump took office. 5% of the people detained by ICE have violent convictions, 73% no convictions. Interesting. Interesting. It's interesting that I use that because that's Elon's phrase. They all have warrants, no one is picked up randomly. Majority of the criminal convictions had vice, immigration, or traffic convictions. Left stats. When did you read that information? I have a fact checker in my other chat. It's funny because the state of Illinois stated they only 54 people with criminal backgrounds. Not murderers or crapers. But I mean, they need to make it so that people are happy that they're allegedly getting rid of illegal immigrants, even though they're not really doing that. You have a fact checker in your other chat. Well, so do we, and it's so you're wrong. Okay, that's fine. Trump's biggest negative is his own mouth, not his actions. But isn't his mouth his actions? Osborne is getting due process. But Drunken Patty, I can actually like. Trump has done good things. Like, for example, the drug price. He's trying to make the pharmaceutical companies reduce drug prices. That is a good thing. So, again, this is something we discussed yesterday. When Trump does good things, I don't hesitate praising it. Because, again, I don't have any fucking party affiliation. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. Democrats have done horrible things. Obama fucking bombed his own citizens with drones. But let's not play fucking dumb here that all of the things that Trump's done is fucking gold. He's fucked the farmers twice. First time in 2018 and the second time 2025. For example, that's just one example. And it's all because of his trade war with China. This live stream is for liberals only. No, it's not. Like, majority of my TikTok commenters here are probably not liberals. My personal opinion is Trump isn't perfect, but at least he's actually trying, unlike some others. Yeah, like, Trump is at least trying. I can give Trump that. He didn't try as much on his first term. Can we admit that? Trump's first term was kinda... It wasn't his best. It wasn't his greatest hits. And I think that's why his second term is what it is at the moment. But he's not a completely free of being a puppet yet. Because I'm quite suspicious when the oil companies fund him, and those specific oil companies, allegedly by Trump, Trump said this, Morskis, what up, met with Trump. No, the oil companies were briefed by before the attacks in Venezuela and after, even though the oil company CEO said that they didn't talk about the strike. But that is suspicious still. But Trump's first term was not good. And I think that's the reason why he lost 2020. But Trump's second term, of course, like, he didn't want to repeat what he did. It's like the first Star Wars movie, like Phantom Menace. It's not the best one. And to be fair, it's quite bad. He lost cause of fraud. No, he didn't. The second one, the second Star Wars movie, was a bit better. See, I'm a doctor in the army, and all I see with Trump right now is a form of war. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed that they can't admit it, that they are occupying a nation and they are at war. They're trying to like balance. I understand that they can't say that. Democrats made their own worst enemy with the lawfare, honestly. I mean, he got convicted of 34 felonies, though. But then again, like going after Trump with the other stuff, yeah, I think that pissed a lot of people off. My goodness, these comments and opinions ignorance to what the USA is behind. He has not really accomplished anything long-lasting. He hasn't, that's true, except like, I mean, he has bailed the farmers twice for $12 billion. That's consistency. Where's the legislations exactly? He has executive orders, though. None of the countries can. You see the press using different languages to avoid sounding biased. How do you compare a military operation to... you're calling it military... no, Brian. Are you calling it a military operation? Because that's not what Trump's admins are calling it. It was a law enforcement operation. Because if it's a military operation, it's war. And Trump's admins said, you can go and see this. They said that this was a law enforcement operation. Because they need to avoid saying military operation. Because that way it would be invasion and war. It was a coup. I mean, they literally said that they're going to decide who's going to lead Venezuela. So yeah, it was a coup. Do you think that Trump... Okay, Daniel, you won the internet prizes here. Do you think Trump is jealous of Stephen Miller's hair? 100%. I think Trump is jealous of Stephen Miller rocking that bald head because Trump needs to wear that to pay. 100% I think that. Now, it doesn't really matter. He can do military operations. Do you have any clue what Maduro has done? Yes, I have. Maduro was a dictator. If you think this is a good precedent of like how to handle this, and to be fair, history hasn't been that good when it comes to regime change. Okay, so Trump stop a fascist, make him a fascist. Trump isn't a dictator by any standard. Just because you don't like Trump doesn't make him a dictator. Okay, so Trump stop. Okay, Brian is just repeating himself now. Bye, Brian. Trump isn't a dictator by any standard just because you don't... keeping Maduro out of Venezuela and convicting him is why it's a law enforcement. But the thing that it changes from a law enforcement operation to a military operation and potentially an invasion and an occupation is that Trump is gonna... Well, not Trump, the USA is gonna go there and decide what that country does, who they're gonna elect, what they're gonna do with their natural resources. Then it's not a law enforcement operation anymore. Was Venezuela a free pass for China against Taiwan? That's something that I had a discussion today with my friends. We were discussing the situation in China, and it's going to be interesting to see if China just decides the same as like Trump decided that this is our hemisphere, and they just take Taiwan and doesn't let them do business with the US anymore. Trump had no claim in Venezuela. Fuck no, he doesn't. He didn't. It leaves the door open and also door for Russia. Yeah, Russia could do the same. This is our hemisphere. We can do whatever we want to. So no attention to comments. I have so much comments in fucking 3 different chats, so... China, Russia, and Iran were all influencing Venezuela and arming them. The Monroe Doctrine allows US to seize control of the benefit of America. I mean, Venezuela can do business with whoever the fuck they want to. If USA wants to do more business with Venezuela, they should just go and negotiate better deals. Isn't that what business is about? Or is this the way you do business that... Oh, you're doing business with somebody else. Well, I'll fucking steal your CEO or the leader of your company and then force you to do business with us, nobody else. Read the Monroe Doctrine. Fuck the Monroe Doctrine. Russia can take back Alaska. There has to be an under-the-table deal because US don't want to lose semiconductor in Taiwan. Yeah. If you can't defend yourself, are you a real country at the end of the day? That sounds... I was just reading today about like historical figures saying similar things that Stephen Miller and you said, Andy. Again, that kind of shows that we haven't learned anything from history. My theory is that Putin, Xi, and Trump have already divided the hemispheres between them. Björn, I hope that's not true, but that kind of sounds like true. Then you're yelling at the clouds, old man. I mean, thanks. I mean, what claim does US have? Honestly, sovereign countries. They can pretend on the Monroe Doctrine that this is our hemisphere all they want to. But they're sovereign countries. US should just do better business with them. Apparently, they should have the best business deal maker ever in the history of business. The USA had the strongest military, so they can just cry. What? -1 dictator. Vittu se rasvaletti otti tyhmä poista video. I mean, thanks, Koski. He was a dictator who did not win election. 2026 is the best year in the history of humanity. Good, good, good. Two things can be true: happy citizens, illegal actions. We from the Netherlands are with the Vikings. Yeah, we were talking about Denmark, okay? Some people just being abusive to you with no rebuttal need a book instead of TikTok. Drunken Batty, this is normal. Like, welcome to the chat. And this is not even the worst. Usually half of the comments are about my hair and am I trans. It's been upgrading now. It's Don Roe Doctrine now. Specifically say Southern Hemisphere though. 100% Putin, Trump, and Xi have decided to carve out what they want to and scold each other in public. That is an interesting theory though. They are the modern Roman Empire. They go around, do what they want with their army. It's not new. Interesting theory.
And all of us, every one of us.
Canada is sending reps to Greenland. A first for Canada. That would be a Uno reverse card if Greenland decides, like Denmark decides to sell Greenland to Canada. Ja Ryssille kappas vallan jo kauan sitten, kommunisti on kiva aate. Mitä vittua sä selität, Kaski? Like, you're not even making any fucking sense. Like, yeah, Venezuela can do business who the fuck they want to. You're not going to look up Manuel Noriega president case for Maduro's arrest. Then the USA will just take it. What can anyone do about it? Seriously, the real president of the US is in Israel. Oh my fucking god. People talking about Putin like the EU isn't turning into a new empire that forces compliance. 2026 is amazing. Hi from California. What up, California? You would rather spew, conjure it than read the doctrine. Yeah. Canada is broke. Well, I mean, I have to give credit to some of these like comments, like hilarious. You want to hear the... Oh, let's hear Trump. Because there's so many people who love Trump, so I have some best of the best hits for you. So I have some best of the best here. I think a big Walmart in Greenland and stealth bombers landing would be awesome. So let's see. I have some beautiful timestamps that 8:44. What happens in 8:44?
And then Steve Scalise, he got hit hard. Where's Steve? Steve. He's a tough cookie. He was dead. I went to the hospital.
His wife was crying so much. She was a mess. Oh, yeah, she loves you. That's the only thing I learned about Steve, that he has a wife who loves him. Because I've gone to hospitals where guys are in bad shape and the wife couldn't care less. She's waiting. She's looking.
Joskus koittaa ampua jopa presidenttiehdokkaan. I mean, if you want to know the world's most dangerous job, it's being the opposition leader in Russia. Because you might fall from a window, you might just die by drinking coffee in London, or you might fall from a balcony. So if you if you really want to have a dangerous job, accidents happen. They do happen quite a lot for a specific group of people. I see we're back at stealing what doesn't belong to us. You're always talking. I am talking. How is it going in Taiwan? Well, Taiwan isn't yet taken over, so at least that's what it is. Yeah, US refineries are built for oil from Venezuela and Canada. That's the conundrum. Happy January 6th, brother. Are they again taking over the capital? Jolla ruokaa. The difference is Taiwan is defended by the USA for now, but they're on the wrong hemisphere though. I don't, Jutta, quite understand what was. I think your timestamp was wrong.
Looking for the next guy. Who's the next guy down the pike? Who the hell is the next guy? He's died. I said, it's so bad. Oh, yeah. I had one.
How does Taiwan's semiconductor TSMC get affected if China take over? So it seems. Who is Tren de Aqua Gang? Did they do something at the direction of somebody? All they ever can say is January 6th, the BBC just pulled out. They lied. The BBC is actually like wanted to go to court. I don't know how that's going to end up. Trump is doing stand-up comedy again. Oh yeah. There's nothing happy about January 6th. It's sad what happened that day and that just some of the people guarding the Capitol. I do relate to that. And I feel kind of sickened that a lot of those who were violently trying to take over the Capitol were pardoned. I'm from Mexico. Half of Latin America loves Trump. So 25 minutes is the next timestamp. 25. You look like Steve Backshaw if grew his hair. What the fuck is Steve Backshaw?
Your name a little bit.
I hope BBC collapses after that. It needs to end. We in the UK don't want it either. Are you talking on behalf of all? They had guns there. Well, they had weapons there. They had like tasers and others, but no guns, no insurrection. I'll stay out of that topic as an outsider. Nah.
You're going to put that up for a vote? I think everybody in this room certainly should do it. And it's a bad vote for them because they're voting against things like voter ID and other things that are almost equal to voter ID. But when somebody says, no, we don't want voter ID, that means they're crooked. And the public understands it. You win elections with that. But I think it would be really important to save America.
That's a good point. Here's another thing that I do agree with Trump, is that voter ID is a good thing. Come at me, Trump fans. Will USA take over Greenland? I mean, Trump said that they want Greenland. Stephen Miller said that they want a Greenland. And Rubio said that they want, and Hexet said that they want. Moro Pekka Pouta. What's the weather like tomorrow, Pekka Pouta? So pay him for it. He doesn't fix his own country's problems, too busy trying to take over. I mean, it might be a bit of reflecting because like the debt of the United States just went up to 38.5 trillion in 2025, and it's suspected to go up to 40 trillion before August. So the debt is just rising. So I think they just need to invade Venezuela, take the oil, and try to like get the debt down. Rubio's family is from Cuba. Very kylmä. Can it get war? If NATO... I mean, Stephen Miller said that nobody's gonna oppose USA taking Greenland. They got the fucking video. All the timestamps are wrong. Oh no! Pekka Bota, thanks for the follow. Ireland is still corrupt to the core, mate. Hey, Drunken Patty. As a fellow Irishman, well, I'm not like... My Irish citizenship is a year away, but I live in Ireland. I've been living here for 3 years. But if you say Ireland is corrupt to the core, what did you vote last time, if you don't mind me asking? Did you vote for the ruling parties that have been the same for the past few decades? Ootko lukenut Persetroikka-petoksesta? What?
America Act, if you would put that up for a vote, it's got my total endorsement. And all it is common sense things about the election. And they'll
didn't vote. They all the same shit under the different banners. SF is the only rational choice. Sinn Féin. God damn. I was sure every single Irish person in my chat would be like voting for Fine Gael. Based on the comments I'm getting. Bro, lol, who are you? What do you mean? What? Trump's boss. Okay. I'm waiting for on NATO Article 5 being triggered. I'm a communist, lol. Okay, well that explains it. Kysy Valkkajalta ajalta, what does the perestroika deception contain? Be the change. Would ever vote Finn File or Fine Gael personally felt a bit betrayed by Soc Dems on their foreign policy. All the timestamps are shit. Thanks, Jutta. You had one job only. Going to Blunt, South America, with... Oh my god, okay. Now I understand why that comment was rejected by YouTube. Not many would vote for them. I mean, that's the thing I've learned in the past 3 years in living in Ireland. Is like everybody complains about prices going up, cost of living going up, nothing changes, but then they vote the same parties to rule every fucking time. Fianophile, yeah. You seem quite politically neutral. Would you mind sharing your political opinions? I believe in free market in some industries. My viewers, I don't know how many regulars we have here, but they have described me as centrist and center-leftist, which is like being on the y-axis it would be center-left, and on the x-axis it would be a bit to the liberal side. So I do think that a good mix of private sector and a public sector is the best balance for a government. But that only works in when you go to the hundreds of millions of citizens, it's hard to implement properly. But if you have a country of the size of like 5 million, or you have a country of the size 10 million, you can kind of do that. Nico, hey, thanks for the follow. A lot of young people don't vote. And that's a bit of an issue because like they see that their vote don't matter. So one of the probably more hot political opinions that I have is that universal childcare should be in every country for citizens, which would be funded by taxes. And as a person who makes a bit of money, I don't mind paying higher taxes if it gives children free healthcare. I would say up to like the same as in Finland, up to 16 years. I sit around the center, but I have quite firm and strict views on immigration. I'm quite lenient when it comes to like immigration, but I'm quite strict when it comes to like having that process of the immigration process needs to be efficient so that we can actually process everyone like properly. So we don't have those who fall between the cracks, you know? But yeah, that's probably one of my hottest take. The other one would be basic human necessities would be also something that a government should handle. A lot of things should be handled by the private sector, but when it comes to like basic human necessities like electricity, water, childcare, all of those should be handled by the government. They should be non-profit. 3 trillion budget deficit every year, everyone except West scrambling for alternative like China's bridge to sell in yuan. Saudi refused to sell crude in dollars only. I see. Will NATO fall if Trump invades Greenland? We'll see. It kind of depends how much balls do the other NATO countries have. It's to be honest, it's really hard to say. Absolutely, public transport, amenities, and education all should be handled primarily by government. Yeah. Like, this is, okay, I think I said that universal childcare is the most hot topic, but I think the next one would be, that Alisa actually already said. No, not healthcare. This is something that me and my wife disagree. My wife is a bit more right-leaning than me, which is kind of hilarious. She is a bit more like heavily towards the capitalistic side of the political spectrum, and I'm a bit more like a hippie. So this might be the most hot topic, is like, when it comes to health, that should never be up to maximizing profit. When it comes to citizens' health, it's been like 80 plus years since World War II, with UN and such. All things should have been taken care of by now. Oh, drunken Patty. I was trying to avoid that, but yeah, I do agree with that. Jykä parturi varanaja. Why? But for example, if I would be a politician, I would never be elected, especially because of all the lobbying of like different corporations and such. But in my opinion, fresh food should be taxed less than processed food that has all those artificial ingredients. Aiotko suomalainen? Yeah. This might be like, I want to hear your take here. Someone called Trump tangerine Palpatine the other day, and that's freaking hilarious. Tangerine Palpatine. Oh my fucking god. Yeah. I heard one of my viewers called Trump Mango Mussolini. Lobbying, massive issue. Oh yeah. I think that politicians should not take money from private corporations or outside sources. It would be hard to be a politician then, because you kind of need funding for that. But at least they should be completely open. I believe that that's the case in the UK. Healthy foods are an essential tax for, yeah. But that's not everywhere. That's not everywhere. Like, but I think that should be the case. Especially like if you're talking about lobbying in the US, I think every single politician should have those, like, you know, sponsored stickers like in NASCAR and other like sports and such. So we would see who is sponsoring this politician. And one of the most like full of stickers would be Nancy Pelosi. Basic fruit, veg, meats should be not taxed and be cheaper. Exactly, Drunken Patty. I know you're Irish and I live in Ireland. So the processed food here is quite expensive if we compare it to Finland, where in Finland processed food is way cheaper, which is fucking bizarre. You do? Yeah. At least Trump team is trying to make American foods healthier. They are, but then again, they are being lobbied by the industry itself. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they can actually achieve. It's really gross at this point. Yeah. Ted Cruz brought to you by APAC, Oil Lobby and Bud Light. Yeah. I thought you know the Irish science that I'm from Ireland. I live in Mayo, in County Mayo. In the beautiful, well, not in the north, but northern. Will Trump take Greenland? Well, yeah, he will. He said that he will. Okay, so I got the new timestamps. 1:38. I love Mayo. Mayo is nice.
Going to make history and break records with the epic midterm victory that we're going to pull off. It just doesn't seem to happen for people that win the presidency.
Well, I'm off. To believe in a supernatural source of evil is not necessary. Men alone are quite capable of every wickedness later. Well, that's an ending statement. Gotta love it. Is there a way to eliminate it, though? Lobbying? No, I don't think so. Blah, blah, America. They were a problem there, Finland. We have a problem here. Yeah, I mean, Finland, the process, it's wild because we have taxes for everything. But it's because, like, the politicians are also lobbied quite hard by the processed food industry. I just don't see Trump winning the midterms. Republicans winning. Sorry, yeah, I don't feel they're gonna win.
It's an amazing phenomenon. You know, you win the presidency, and we sure as hell are having a successful presidency. I will say that.
Control of Congress 2026 latest poll. How's it going? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We have 16 different sources. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All of them are predicting that Democrats will take. And we have actually more sources here. But yeah, every single poll so far. But as I've stated many times here in Ireland and also in Finland, and also when I'm talking about the US politics, it's like, oh, I saw Republican. There you go. But polls are polls. We will see how it goes when the voting starts. The name is right, far right. What do you do for work? Because of the client I have, I need to be a bit secretive, but I lead and manage quite a large group of people who are working for a really big tech company when it comes to AI. Why? Okay, Valdari, I think you win the comment of the day. Polls are liberal lies. Fuck no. Come on. Valdari, I think you win the comment of the day. Why are elderly men running countries? It's insane 80-year-old running empires. Yes. I'm from Kilala, lol. I do agree. Polls in America mean nothing. You should know this, but yeah, I said that. Like, I said that already. Like, polls are just a tool for politicians and media to manipulate people and opinions. I've seen an awesome podcast on it by Patrick Boyd. Go watch. The people of Venezuela are very happy. Well, what? 3550 should be. Oh my fucking god, Drunken Patty, we have more in common than you think. We have things that we disagree. But this is the beauty of this thing that we call a chat and the small little community that we have discussing here. It's like, we have things that we disagree on. But then we have things that we do agree. And the legal age should be, to be in government should be 35 to 55 years. I love that. We should run for government here in Ireland, Drunken Patty. We should create our own political party, which would be hilarious because we differ from like geopolitical like issues. But that's what would make our party perfect because it has all the voices. You're not American, your opinion means nothing, and you're probably American, so you're fucking ignorant. two of us can play the same game. Nah, I value your opinion even though you don't value mine. So because they still believe wealth is monetary terms in all power is all. He talks specifically about the fact that the age of politicians over the years grew by the years. NATO new uniform is camel dress. I think Zelensky designed it. Biden had a bounty on Maduro's head, I know. Adrian, thanks for the follow. Keir Starmer said Maduro was bad. Yeah, I do agree with that. Drunken Patty waves tricolors, although I generalize. Mayonnaise party. Shit welder. I'm from UK. Good job. Term limits and age limits. You're not triggering me. I don't know what you're trying, Big J, but... And only serve 4 to 6 years in Congress. Okay, I will extend this idea that we have now. I also think that politicians should have mid-year or every year performance reviews by the people who voted them. So, for example, if you guys vote me to be a politician, at the end of the year, you could have a vote to vote me out if I didn't do what I promised to do. You seem very triggered, and I don't know. Because one thing we should do as a society and as a civilization is hold our politicians to accountable that they should do what they promised they would do. That would be every politician. That would be every politician. Politicians should also have yearly reviews to show where their money comes from. I like that idea as well. Lol, accountability. I mean, yeah, I do. I know that it sounds so foreign that politicians need to have accountability, but fuck yeah. If I was crap, I'd be fired. Exactly, shit welder. I'm just testing you, man. You passed. Give you a B for non-triggerness. Can you say the same? Don't be daft. He clearly has reasoning. It's a great idea, just wouldn't work. Fantasy. I mean, is it though? Like, what if every single citizen would start requiring this? Going against Ukraine in politics will end your career instantly. It's merely theater. I mean, yeah, probably. If every single voter would require this, would it be fantasy then? Pause their investments and give them an average return while they're in office. When it starts with what if? Is that a German phrase? What? Shit welder? No. I'm a Brit, we just love the sarcasm, eh? What did shit welder say? What unites people in your opinion? God damn, that's a deep philosophical question. What unites people? That is a deep philosophical question. Because he was asking if I was a shit welder, I think. Okay. War disaster. Oh, yeah, okay. So you mean that, like, what event will unite people? Yeah, like, if we're talking about what event will unite people, I think it's then gonna be a disaster, war. We saw it in 9/11. That united Americans for a while. And then it went to shit again, you know? But usually war, I'm too lazy to read properly. I mean, I'm guilty of that all the time. So 19 minutes and 14 seconds.
Now because they're not doing the oil, but they are. They've now reduced it very substantially, as you know, from Russia. We're getting rich because of tariffs, by the way. I hope everyone understands that. They hate to report. We're going to have over $650 billion poured into our country or coming in shortly because of tariffs. You know, they're finding all of these pockets of money a couple of weeks ago. Sir, off by $39 billion. Oh, is that good or bad? Meaning,
I really hope not. I really hope not. When will humanity grow, for fuck's sake? That's also a really good question, because we've kind of accepted. Well, not all of us, but a lot of humanity has accepted that nothing is ever gonna change, and this is just how things are gonna go, you know. And it's kind of sad, to be fair.
Do we have it, or are we short of it? Sure, it's 39 billion that we can't.
I used to be more hippie, as you say, and after a number of years, I saw all the same ugly crap that existed in another community takes over. Yeah, I mean, it would be so much easier to just like follow one side of the political spectrum and go blindly on that way. Then you wouldn't need to think what you want, what you would. You wouldn't need to think, because you would just need to read what your favorite politician from that side of the political spectrum is saying, and you just follow that. That would be the easiest life ever. But yeah, if you want an easy life, don't try to balance between pick a side and stay on that side. But if you want a bit of a more difficult life that fakely have more meaning, I use the term fakely because like I have no power, you know, other than like what I do and how I raise my kids and how I treat people. That's really hard to describe to anyone, but like a lot of people are saying that they treat people based on like the color of their skin, and they ask people where they're from. These are things that mean nothing to me. I don't care where you're from, where did you live before. I treat every single human I meet the same. And the funny thing is, I've never taught my child this, but they do the same, both of my daughters. And it is so heartwarming to see that they don't discriminate, and also that they just treat everybody the same. When you can name like that, remember only a master can use that tag. Thought you were brown bread. Oh, I'll see. You need to create reality. But I mean, maybe that's the testament of like how they view their parents, you know? Because a lot of kids are brought up to, they learn by watching and listening. So by that definition, how I see how they treat other humans and other people and other children is kind of reflecting that. I don't understand why you people from Finland are so bad at English. Okay. I mean, no. Shitwelder, you don't understand. Like, Finnish people are the most butthurt when it comes to someone else from Finland speaking English. Like, they're the most butthurt ever. And it's fucking hilarious. Glad to find a new Patriot streamer. Okay. Rally English, yeah. Bekani Dekani. I mean, shitwelder doesn't really mean shitwelder. Like, he could be he could mean like, I am the shit welder, you know? I am the shit. Oh, I see. Not just Brits with a good sense of humor. You clearly shit at welding. I can't have metal flipping all the cap. Oh, God. I I do love Finns when they come to the stream because like you can recognize them instantly.
He's, tell.
Tere, kuidas läheb? Oh, we have an Estonia here, right? Are you lost? No. Oh, he's talking to Foxbox.
The European person, he has to be authorized by the President of the United States. Well, he wasn't. The guy barely knew the President. How many times did you speak to the President, right? He said 2. And they just spoke about the weather. It was like this. But he was never authorized to sign. And I think it's, 95% of the things were signed by European. You can tell because the European is a nice, clean signature, and his signature's a mess. The only thing he signed was, which is nice, was Hunter's pardon.
The thing about Trump talking about Biden's autopen, which is like an issue that a president isn't really reading stuff that they are signing, especially when it comes to pardoning or anything, basically. But even Trump's admins have admitted that Trump doesn't read what he signs. There are people who are unknown to everyone else except Trump's admin, who presents the legislation, the executive orders, and the pardons to Trump. And Trump signs them based on the figures in the background who no one knows who they are, bringing those in front of Trump. American politics is a sitcom and should be viewed as such. Yeah. Unfortunately, it affects us all. True. True. But that is also like scary if you think about it, that there are entities who are bringing Trump stuff to sign and Trump doesn't know about it because he trusts those people. And they asked Stephen Miller if Stephen Miller was that. They asked Marco Rubio as well, and both of them denied that they are the ones. But Biden proven out the pen was fine. No. I said literally fucking 10 seconds ago that that is concerning and that is not a good thing. Yes, Jesse Lyon Jones, thanks for the follow. Rubio even said that the people who are providing Trump all the stuff to sign isn't Rubio. So, absolute orange cocksucker. Or cunt sucker. Depends on like which you mean. But if you have a president that doesn't read what they're signing, whether it's a Democrat or whether it's a Republican, that is fucking concerning. Of course, you will always need a good admin that you trust. Pound Shop Hassan, nice. Hassan is a bit too left-leaning for me. The only difference is like I come from the land of the promised land of Bernie Sanders, which is Finland, and Hassan comes from Turkey, I think. So I think Hassan would be kind of annoyed because Bernie Sanders has such a hard-on for Finland. So I'm from the promised land.
Pretty bad after effects. But that was a terrorist attack on people that are doing a great job. And it could have been anywhere. But we haven't had a murder. You know, we would have...
Why is 2026 hard already? There's just a lot of things happening in 2026 already. Aggression abroad, decay at home, uniparty doctrine for 50 years. He is decent though, Sanders. Oh, yeah. Like, one of the better ones. He's been consistent since the fucking 70s. In his views. One of the only politicians that don't flip-flop.
On average, 2 murders a week in Washington. I don't even like talking about it. Two murders a week in Washington, D.C.
2 murders a week in Washington, he says. The DC police has recorded 127 murders through December 26th, including 28 since Trump announced his federal takeover. Oof. What was that number?
On average, 2 murders a week in Washington. I don't even like talking about it. Two murders a week in Washington, D.C. We haven't had one in 7 months.
7 months. 127 murders through 26th of December, including 28 since Mr. Trump announced his federal takeover. More than 12 a month. So all the numbers he again said was incorrect. It's invisible. You should see the murder rate when Joe Biden was in office. It was down now. Yeah. But I mean, he could just report the correct numbers. It's the same thing with his math thing when he was talking about the discount for the prescription medicine. Like, if he just stayed with the facts, the numbers are great. Like 80% discount for a prescription medicine. That is really good. But if you fucking say a 3,000% discount, why? Who of you wouldn't be happy if your prescription medicine has an 80% discount? Everyone would be thrilled about announcing 80% discounts on prescription medicines. Or zero murders when they're still in murder. Yeah, like reporting zero murders when there's still murders going on. Like, why the fuck does he lie? He has those numbers. He has a lot of people in his admin to provide those numbers. He could just be truthful. That says who does. Yeah. He's the man. You can just Google it and get all the numbers. Or I have a better idea. What about if we require our leaders to speak the truth? Maybe. He can't stop lying. I think it's like a second nature now. Because like he is a businessman. So he's just selling this thing to his voters and people in America. He's just selling bigger numbers, which is a sales tactic. Anybody who's worked in sales, pedophiles love Trump, come on. Everybody who's worked in sales knows that overselling is a thing. Specular Tricks, thanks for the follow. He does. Like, he's a salesperson. So you need to believe in yourself, not necessarily what you say, but in yourself. So you have the confidence of like appear that you know what you're talking about. Hakeem Jeffries, that's coping. Oh, Clover. Can you just try and admit that Trump lies? Biden lied a lot. Kamala Harris lied a lot. Can you admit that Trump lies? Or are you too MAGA classes that you can't see? He may misspeak. Trump doesn't lie. He does. He does quite a lot. Bush lied, yeah. Like, if you want to actually have a proper political conversation, you need to be able to admit if your side of the political spectrum is also doing shit. It's called confabulation, and it is typical with people with his type of dementia. I mean, allegedly. I'm from US, and I can tell you nothing POTUS says is truth. I mean, he said one thing truthful. He said that Melania doesn't like when Trump dances. I think that's the only truthful thing he's said in a while. I'm just kidding, you know. All politicians lie, it's part of their job, but they're lying and lying. He believes what he's like. I mean, he is selling stuff. I think that if a political leader is actually made telling the truth, a policy, they would gain so much support. 100%. Santa likes green. Trump's running the show. Okay. I mean, okay. Did you read my... What? Did you read my comp? You mean mine? Yeah, they don't. Are they? True. Mein Kampf. I got my history grade upgraded 1 for reading Mein Kampf when I was in high school. But that was in high school. I don't know why our history teacher provided that option for everyone, but I did take that option because I hated school. So getting your grade 1 higher just by reading Mein Kampf. He has succeeded in making the US the most hated country in the world. I mean, that's a 100% succeed rate, right? Did you read Minecraft? Interesting questions. It's so stupid. Why lie about something that can be fact-checked in less than a minute for reliable sources? Because he gets away with it.
20 or 30. From 10 to 20 or 30.
You want to learn some maths? If you did, you'll find the similarities with Project 20. Oh, yeah. You want to play a game? I will read you a quote from Stephen Miller. And you need to tell me if that's from Stephen Miller or somebody else. Are you ready? Are we ready? So, the name of the game is this Stephen Miller or is this somebody else? If a movement has the strength to take over government positions of power, then it has the right to form the government as it wishes. Politics is governed not by moral principles, but power. That's the quote. Not Miller. AI. No, it's not AI. Okay. I have another one. We live in a world that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. There are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time. Is that Miller? Game of Thrones. It's not Game of Thrones. The second one was Miller. The second one was Stephen Miller. But was the first one also quite similar? I will read both of them back to back. And can you see the similarities? The first one is Miller now. We live in a world that is sovereign, that is governed by strength, that is governed by force, that is governed by power. These are the iron laws of the world that have existed since the beginning of time. If a movement has the strength to take over government positions of power, then it has the right to form the government as it wishes. Politics is governed not by moral principles, but power. Who is the second quote? And this is like, It's detected that the live chat didn't appear on your screen in the past two, something. Oh wait, no, Trump is like, we killed him like a dog. The two together sound like one quote. Yeah. The second one that I referenced, that is from 1928. From upcoming Minister of Propaganda in Germany. Why do I know this? And why do I have this? It's because I was literally listening. No, not Himmler. Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Nazi Germany. And the reason why I have those is because I was listening to Stephen Miller's interview on CNN, and everything he said was so from Du bist vom Deutschland. No, nein. But everything he said was so from history. Like all the rhetoric, all the imagery he uses, everything. This reminded me of those quotes that everyone can find and see from the 1920s and 1930s. Paolo Tonton, thanks for the follow. So that's why I have those, because of course I'm making a short of that. It's terrifying. Same ideology. It's a bit different though, because I need to make the I need to talk about the differences, because of course we know that Goebbels was all about race hatred and talking about the greatness of Germany and the race and like the supremacy of the race. And Stephen Miller, at least of now, is not doing that same thing. But they are talking about the same stuff. Trump just today said that he's gonna refire the military industry. They're gonna start making more guns, more ammunition. They're gonna completely boost the military industry in the United States, which is exactly the same stuff that was told in the 30s. And the same reason, for national security. Your punctuation is very German. Finnish and German isn't that far off. Finnish and German are quite close when it comes to. And also, I bit my tongue. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's really hard to talk because it's swollen, so sorry about that. And when Stephen Miller is talking about like forcing other nations to abide to their will, governing them, having the right to steal land because it belongs to them, having the right to steal property and private industries, natural resources, all of these are the talking points from the 1930s. I work for a department that works with the US state. So that's why it's not hard to find similarities between the rhetoric in the 1930s and today.
From 10 to 20 or 30.
Let's talk about something more lighthearted. You want to do maths? Might not work out well, as Germany is also planning on boosting their industry. I know. But it was kind of like needed because what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. So what do you think? Does Denmark have a case? The 1930s and the 2030s are going to be twisted. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah, it's a grim time that we live in, though. Like, there's so many similarities, not just in the like United States, but around the world. Like, we're seeing similar speech that we should have learned from history, like dehumanizing speech of human lives and human beings, comparing people to pests and insects and rodents and others. Like, can we take Greenlandia? I hope the US doesn't take Greenland. I think Canada should. But there's so much similarities nowadays than we like. I think people have just forgotten history. I mean, if the US wants to destroy NATO, they're gonna take Greenland. A time of extremism on all sides. Yeah. It's not a fun time to be alive, though. But that's why we need to try and build some sort of a understanding of both sides, because I think the division between the political spectrums are causing this. So that's why it's really great to see a lot of people here that don't share 100% the same political ideas and opinions, and we still can coexist. No one can take Greenland, it's part of Denmark. You know, here in BA, they want to start building military so they can protect themselves. And that's why we need to, instead of like demonizing and dehumanizing the other side, we need to start listening and having a conversation. It is down to the intellectual to protect the world's future. Yeah. But unfortunately, the intellectuals are the minorities in the world. And that's why they don't get lobbied that much, because they also know not to fall into that trap of taking money and throwing away your morals and everything. Ignorance is a virus. You have no idea what will occur if they try. Yeah, like NATO is going to be over. if Trump wants to take Greenland. Like, there's not going to be NATO anymore. Oh yeah, one thing I'm going to end on. I hate politics. I don't. I like talking about it. The most ironic thing about the Venezuela situation now is because, of course, we know that the United States wants to control Venezuela and who leads and so forth. When Delcy Rodriguez was sworn in the ceremony, there was the ambassadors of China, Russia, and Iran, but not the United States. And that was kind of hilarious, though. Poor Eric Trump. Everyone is remembering how his daddy attempted a coup today, and no one is wishing him happy birthday. Is it Eric Trump's birthday? Maybe that's because Eric Trump has done absolutely nothing. At least Don Jr. is snorting coke live on TV all the time. So that's why I remember Don Jr. more than Eric Trump. And also, Trump era is gone soon. If they lose the midterms, as Trump said it himself, he's probably going to jail. Which is a weird thing to do if you've done nothing criminal. And that wasn't my quote. That was Trump's saying. Trump said that he's going to jail if they lose the midterms. So before you fire up your torches and sharpen up your pitchforks, it wasn't me, it was Trump who said that. But also, it's kind of weird. Like, Trump did just crimes. It is a weird thing to admit, though, that. And the way he said it was like kind of apologizing. Like, if we lose the midterms, they're gonna impeach me. Not even they're gonna find a way to impeach me. He blatantly was like, they're gonna impeach me. I'm gonna go to jail. A lot of people are going to jail. But yeah. All right. It's really hard to talk with a swollen tongue. We're gonna end it here. I know I started a bit late today. I need to start earlier because we have so many things to discuss. And so little time, as they should. He knows he has gambled too much. I mean, he has gambled everything. Literally everything. I want to thank everyone. We've had a lot of great streams. I've had a lot of good conversations with people I don't agree with everything and people who I do agree with. And that's what I want the communities in YouTube and TikTok and everywhere to be about. That we can have different opinions. We can have differences in views, but we can still find common ground. Or if we can't, we can still have a conversation, you know. He didn't mean that literally besides you have to have both chambers to impeach. That is true. But he did say that. Make a live. I'm live every day. Almost every day. I think I'm gonna have an off day on Thursday. But like almost every day. So I want to wish everybody a great rest of the day. Morning, evening, night, wherever you are. And hope to see you again. This was a stream. We've had some good streams overall. Live with people's screens. It's always a bit of a risk to stream with people I don't know, you know. Not because like it. I even avoid streaming with people I know because some of the terminology they use. Are you a pro Trump or a pro common sense? Okay, that's a loaded question, but I do like the later one that you say, the pro common sense. But didn't Trump just say that he's the candidate for common sense? I mean, yeah, but yeah, thanks everyone. I hope to see you again. We'll get to know me. We definitely need to get to know them. Have some conversations here. Take care, relax, enjoy the rest of the day. It's only the 6th of January. We'll make through at least January. I'll promise. Leftists don't even know who Edmundo Gonzalez is. Okay, Thomas Anderson, that's a weird thing to say. But take care, guys. See you later. Bye.